Hello, my friends. This is Lynda Lippin, and welcome to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Hello, my friends. This is your host, Lynda Lippin, and welcome back to the Pilates Goddess podcast. As always, I am so grateful that you are here and that you are listening to the podcast. It is February, and I have not been with you guys in several months, and I apologize for that. Life has been a little crazy. If you follow me a little bit on social media, you might know that I am getting ready in the next few months to move to Bermuda. That's right. I am finally leaving the United States again and moving to an overseas territory of the Brits. And I am really kind of thrilled to go. I will be working at Horizon Health, which is a fabulous studio. Some of you might know it because I've been hiring teachers for Caroline at Horizon Health for going on, I think, 8 or 9 years now. And I've watched so many people go and have a fabulous experience there and love it. And so many people have stayed and renewed their contracts multiple times. And now, my friends, my husband is retiring and I am taking one of those contracts, and I cannot be more excited. More news on that in the next few months, and I will be continuing the podcast from there. So no issues with that. So today I just want to talk about Pilates and teaching Pilates. And I'm getting really, number one, I'm getting tired of seeing Pilates parsed out into the different pieces of equipment as if chair Pilates was very different from reformer Pilates, very different from mat Pilates, very different from Cadillac or Tower Pilates. It's really not, my friends. Joseph Pilates created a system of work that is really pretty consistent. And if you listen actually to my breakdown of the mat, of the Pilates mat, and I will link to those episodes in the show notes for this so that is just easy for you to find. But if you listen to those episodes, you are going to see how the shapes that show up in the mat also show up on every other piece of equipment in the studio. And this is what I want you to understand, that Pilates is a system. And even though he did create full-on workouts and exercises that you can do on any of the pieces of equipment or the mat, I'm telling you right now that the absolute best way to learn Pilates, get stronger faster, and teach Pilates in a way that feels meaningful and holistic to you, you need to understand the full system and do some comprehensive training. I know that sucks. I know that might be more time, energy, and effort than you want to expend right now. I'm seeing a lot of posts online and in different Facebook groups and subreddits asking for what is the least expensive and easiest comprehensive Pilates certification program. I also want to remind everybody, both people wanting to do Pilates and people seeking to teach Pilates, that cheap and easy is not necessarily the way to go, okay? I'm saying it again, cheap and easy is not necessarily the way to go. And I want you to think about that in life, okay? Some of you may know this, I'm not sure, but most of my female friends of varying ages know about something we call cost per wear, right? And that's almost like an amortization of clothing and accessories. So if you buy, say, an inexpensive bag and you only use it 2 or 3 times and say it's, $30, but you only use it 2 or 3 times and then it starts to rip or fall apart, then your cost per use is still $10 per use, right? Now, if you buy the more expensive, say, $400 bag, crazy, but you're able to use that bag for the next 20 years of regular use, that bag basically has a negative value by the time you're done with that 30 to 40 years. And then oftentimes you can just sell it as vintage and probably make most of your money back. So it all works well. Pilates equipment is actually the same way in terms of taxes and stuff. When you're buying it for your business, you get to claim a kind of drop in value every year for a certain number of years. But if you go to resell that, you can pretty much resell any decent, piece of Pilates equipment for, once again, pretty close to what you bought it for. Cheap and easy is not the way to go. I'm also seeing a lot of posts asking if some of the like home exercise reformers that are being sold on Amazon for under $500 are appropriate for commercial studio use. Once again, my friends, don't go cheap and easy here. Okay. You are buying apparatus that you are going to put bodies on. Those human beings, I'm sorry, even if they sign a liability waiver, which I'm assuming they are, if if they get hurt on that equipment or the equipment fails and they go to sue you and they discover that you purchased basically cheap home equipment for your studio, I can tell you right now that you will lose, right? I mean, it's kind of obvious. Once again, don't go the cheap and easy route. If you are starting your Pilates training or starting your Pilates journey, and we have a lot of folks coming into Bombshell right now who are starting their Pilates journey, um, I really feel like the best way as a client into the work is with small. I mean, really, the best way into the work is with privates if you can do it and afford it. But if you can't, and you're looking at classes, if you're going into studios, I really recommend that you not find the big chain studios. Find the small studios that have classes that are maybe up to 6 people on equipment. They can be a little bit bigger in mat. Um, but make sure that you're working in a small enough group situation that the teacher is able to make appropriate corrections and make maybe some different exercise choices. I sometimes have an open level class where I have beginners and I have more intermediate advanced people, and I might choose different exercises actually for those clients. That's just, a different way to approach teaching a class. But I'm able to do that again because I'm not dealing with 12 people on reformers in the dark with loud music. Okay. I'm just able in a quiet studio to focus on my clients in that group and what they need. And I'm telling you right now, the classes are not going to be that much more expensive than they are at the larger chain studios. They are really not. Seriously. They are not. And if you can find a studio that does teacher training, that can often be great for you if you're on a budget, because then you can start to take classes from the trainees and apprentices and get the work at a discounted price, but still get the attention that you need. For apprentices and trainees, the classes are usually even a little bit smaller so that the newer teachers can really slow down and focus on the clients and on what they need to teach. Okay, so, once again, where I want you to do that like little bit of research. Now, if you are looking at going into teacher training, I think the most efficient and efficacious way, if you just want to start with one thing is to learn the mat and learn the classical mat. Learn all of the exercises, learn the exercises in order, learn how to weave in the new higher level exercises for your clients, and really deep dive into the mat. Once again, listen to my episodes on this podcast, breaking down the Pilates mat, and you will see how those shapes and exercises show up everywhere else in the Pilates studio. There are great online options for a mat certification. I am actually going to be launching one soon myself. And there are also great in-person options for a mat training. After you do a mat training and you want to go further in your Pilates work, then I recommend going into a comprehensive training. Seriously. If you're going to do it separately, which I don't recommend, but I'm going to give you the options anyway. If you're doing it separately, I would go mat, reformer, Cadillac or tower, and then chair and barrels and other things. Okay, that's the order that I would do the workshops in. But getting those skills together, especially if you ever want to travel as a teacher, right? One of the reasons why I'm able to go to Bermuda is because I have comprehensive training, because I teach on all of the apparatuses, because I have, say, both classical and contemporary work behind me, because I also have a fitness personal training cert. So I've kind of done all of that work. Once again, it was not cheap and easy. Okay. But I'm in a great position to teach. Always remember, this is not, it is about us as teachers, but it's very much about our clients. And we want to make sure that they are safe and that they are moving forward in a safe and happy and strengthening way. And that we're not just kind of pushing through cheap and easy, because we can hurt people. Like we really can. So you guys, I am going to be doing a few more interviews this year. We're going to have some people coming back. I've had some folks request interviews. I'm actually starting to send out the scheduling links. I've just been kind of so exhausted that I haven't been able to deal. But now I can. So you guys, I love you dearly. I am so thrilled for those of you who are still listening, that you are still with me and you are still listening. Okay. Going to be looking for some Pilates mat training for me. We're going to be looking for some in studio workshops at Bombshell before I leave the country. And then we're going to be looking at Lynda coming from Bermuda in a few months. So I love you guys, and I will talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Pilates Goddess podcast. Music brought to you by Nerd Salad. Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, especially if you liked it. And please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks.